Tonight on Midships, there's an update to the passenger who went overboard up in Alaska the other day. We also need to talk about people being denied boarding on cruises using their birth certificate, or what they thought was their birth certificate. And Royal Caribbean, they've just achieved something amazing. Let's talk about it. Roll the intro. Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. And it's a double featured kind of day. I'm not sure if you caught the notification earlier around 5 o'clock this evening, but I did upload my very first ever cruise vlog to YouTube. Yeah, I finally did it, compiled some vlog style content on my most recent cruise aboard MSC Divina. So if you're interested and you'd like to watch the video, it will be in the recommendations tab at the very end of this episode. Just tap on it. And go easy on me. I'm not a professional cruise vlogger quite yet, but we're working on it. And speaking of professional cruise vloggers, why don't we just make that the question of the day? In the comments below this video, let me know who your favorite cruise vlogger is here on YouTube. Is it Tony, Don, Jay, Emma, JJ Cruise? If I missed you and you're watching and you're a cruise vlogger, you could admonish me in the comments for that as well. Now, let's get into today's cruise news, and there's great news for Royal Caribbean. All of their ships are now officially back in service as Rhapsody of the Seas marks a return to cruising from Rome, which means I get to say my favorite word, Civita Vecchia. That's right, Rhapsody of the Seas is welcoming guests back in Civita Vecchia today for a 7-night cruise. They're going to Santorini, Mykonos, Turkey, Greece. Oh my goodness, that sounds like the cruise of a lifetime for those of us cruising out of the USA. And if you're hoping to hop on board Rhapsody of the Seas, she's gonna move a little bit closer here towards the USA in November when she begins a season out of Barbados. But the big story is the full fleet return. All 26 ships in Royal Caribbean's fleet are now back on the water, offering cruises and kicking off a return to service. And of course, the Quantum of the Seas started this whole thing back in December of 2020, offering cruises out of Singapore. But a little cruise trivia. How many of you out there know which ship was the first Royal Caribbean ship to return to service in North America? Well, it didn't start in the US. But on June 12th, Adventure of the Seas kicked off cruising from Nassau, Bahamas. And while Rhapsody of the Seas is on the smaller side, it does offer guests the opportunity to have a more quiet, intimate, old school cruise experience while still retaining most of the features you'd expect and love on a Royal Caribbean ship. And I know a lot of you out there in the Midships family love and are indeed loyal to Royal. And if that's you, I'd highly recommend you checking this out from my Midships Amazon store. You can get it as a t-shirt for men, for women, for children. It also comes in like a really nice beach tote bag, loyal to Royal. And the best part is you'll be supporting my work as well as getting yourself something amazing for your next cruise. If you'd like to search through all my t-shirt designs, there's a link to my Amazon affiliate store in the description below. When you get there, just click on that Professional Cruisers tab. You can see all of my shirt designs, plus everything I take with me whenever I cruise. Now we need to get back into the cruise news and talk about something a lot more serious. The other day, we touched on a story about a person going overboard from a celebrity cruise ship up in Alaska. And now news has been released from official channels, so I feel confident in sharing it here with you now, the update to this story. According to KHOU 11, as well as the Houston Chronicle, Selena Pa Perez, a 40-year-old resident of Houston, Texas, fell overboard from the ship around 3 a.m. on the celebrity Solstice, approximately 20 miles north of Juneau, Alaska. A search and rescue operation was launched for the passenger, and they covered about 68 square nautical miles of the ocean, spanning around 9 hours of searching before they officially had to call it off. According to the Alaska State Troopers, the Alaska Bureau of Investigation will now conduct further investigations into the incident and what led to the loss of Miss Pa Perez. On the day of the incident, the outside temperature was around 51 degrees and water temperatures were about 10 degrees cooler at 41 degrees Fahrenheit. The passenger went overboard in what is known as the Inside Passage. And again, we're getting some more concrete information about this story, and you know that when events like this occur, I'm pretty slow and cautious to report on them. I really like to hear from official sources before I give you much information. So this is your current update as of now, the best available information for this incident that occurred on Celebrity Solstice last week, where a 40-year-old passenger went overboard. And again, our condolences to the family of Ms. Pa Perez. And if any more information is to surface as to why or how this all occurred, I will definitely share it with you here on the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Now, we have to talk about a family who were denied boarding on a cruise ship because they didn't have the right birth certificate. This is news coming out from Denver, Colorado, and it involves the Celebrity Summit. Two passengers, Debbie Schwab and her mom, Blanche White, were slated to cruise on board the Summit out of Fort Lauderdale. They had their COVID tests in hand, their driver's license, and what they thought were their original birth certificates. However, upon arriving to the cruise terminal for their embarkation, a representative checking them in said that the 1969 However, upon arriving for embarkation, the representative checking them in said the hospital certificate from 1969, which Ms. Schwab presented, was not her state-issued birth certificate for cruising. They said it was just a decorative certificate, according to Schwab, and unfortunately that resulted in a denial of her boarding, which would be extremely frustrating for a cruiser. I couldn't imagine getting all the way across the country, paying all those dollars just to get there, let alone buying your cruise fare, only to be turned away in the 11th hour at the terminal. So let's just talk about these birth certificate issues that these cruisers ran into. According to Jerry Katz, a seasoned travel agent, a passport is always your best way to board a cruise. However, most cruise lines do typically accept a state-issued birth certificate, and this birth certificate usually has to have a raised seal stamped on it or printed on it. So if you run your hand over the top of your certificate and you don't feel a raised seal, you're probably holding on to that decorative certificate like we just mentioned, and that's probably not going to get you on board your next cruise. And this happens all the time to cruisers, according to this travel agent. Katz went on to say that if the guests had just spoken with a seasoned travel agent, they would have informed them that baptism papers, hospital birth certificates, voter cards, and social security cards are not acceptable for boarding a Caribbean cruise out of the US. He also noted that if you change your last name when you get married, you need a state marriage certificate along with your birth certificate to board. So ladies and gentlemen, listen up here. I'm curious, have any of you out there in the Midships family ever run into an issue with your documents at embarkation? I know I was very worried when they introduced the added strain of COVID documentation, but it seems the cruise lines are pretty good at handling all of it, and resources like this and other cruise creators here on YouTube are one of your best bets for finding out more information, especially if you're newer to cruising or cruising with a new line. And another great way to enjoy your next cruise with maximum fun is to actually join me on my group cruise. I'm hosting a cruise that's open to all of you out there on YouTube who watch me, and thank you for watching. And I think you'd have a really good time cruising along with me in the Caribbean. We're leaving on the Carnival Sunshine this October 24th, and we're cruising out of Charleston, South Carolina for 5 nights. I've got some epic things planned, and we're filming a new intro to this channel. It's your chance to be a part of all of that on this little screen every time you tune in. If you'd like more information about how you can get on board, there's a link to a Facebook group for the group cruise in the description below this video. It's a lot of times for me to say the word group, isn't it? Well, if you made it this far into today's episode, thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching all the way through to the end. Make sure you click on over or just stay right on the channel to watch my first ever vlog for my embarkation day on the MSC Divina. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. That vlog, it was a lot of work, but if you liked it, just let me know and I'll make some more. I've got probably at least 3 or 4 more vlogs worth of cruise content that I can release here on the channel. Just say the words. We'll see you tomorrow. La, 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 la.